Hello friends, this is Carrie and welcome back to I Like Reddit channel. I hope you all are staying safe and healthy. Friends, today we have 5 stories out of the Entitled Parents subreddit. Let's begin. Our first story is posted by AnxiousDoggo1, entitled Mom Tries to Steal My Service Dog. So this just happened today and I'm still shaken up from it. I have a wonderful service dog named Frankie. She helps me with my anxiety and PTSD so I can go into stores and shop. I have an ID for her that shows that she belongs to me. So I'm shopping today looking for some clothes when I see this boy, EK, running from underneath the racks through the aisle. This gives me anxiety and Frankie alerts me by jumping on my leg. I reward her and we move on. The EK runs right in front of us and spots Frankie. EK, puppy! He goes to pet Frankie and I step between him and put my hand out to block him, me. I'm sorry, you can't pet her, she's working. See? I motion to Frankie's vest that clearly states that she's a service dog and do not pet. The EK starts crying and runs under the clothing racks. I try to calm myself down and I continue shopping. I then hear the stomping feet coming into the aisle I'm turning in. I turn around to see the mom, EM, coming towards me with the EK in tow. EM, how dare you tell my little angel that he can't pet your dog? Let my son pet the dog now. Me, I'm sorry ma'am, but my dog is working right now and your son can't pet her. EM, I don't care. The EM comes up to me and grabs Frankie's leash from me. Frankie has been trained to follow strangers in case of medical emergencies, so she just goes with the woman. Me, I see. This is an emergency call for Frankie to come right to my side. Frankie slips her harness and runs to me, and I pick Frankie up crying now. EM, how dare you? I'm gonna call the police saying that you stole the dog from me. The EM blocks me from leaving and calls the police. The police arrive and the EM starts saying that Frankie is her service dog and that I stole her. I start having a panic attack and Frankie alerts me and lies on my chest to calm me down. The officer comes over to help calm me down. When I came out of the panic attack, I explained what happened and showed the ID I have for Frankie and my ID to prove it's me. The EM throws Frankie's harness and starts running away. The officer grabs her and arrests her for pet theft, assault on an officer, and verbal harassment. Frankie is okay and I'm okay as well. I took my emergency medication and I'm doing better now. Thank you for reading and please treat service animals like medical equipment and do not pet them. Frankie and I both say thank you for the kind words and encouragement. Frankie has gotten a lot of extra pets and treats from you all. Our next story is posted by Earl1316. Peeping Tom entitled Mother calls the cops on my autistic brother. This happened about 3 years ago. My little brother and I were both in our early 20s at the time, both living at home with our parents. The way our house is set up, the second floor has 2 windows facing the street. The one left to my bedroom and one right to my brother's room. Our house is on a long, straight street that curves into another and is broken up into another side street. Our house happens to be at an intersection of the last side street before it starts to curve into another. At this intersection, there is a bus stop for the local public school, the very one that I took throughout my school career, which was nice since I could just walk out the front door and be at the bus stop at 10 seconds. Although the bus stop is close to my house, you have to turn around and directly be staring at my house to see anything. You might have some luck with our living room windows, but my mom keeps them closed pretty much all the time because our dogs like barking at everything. My bedroom blinds are permanently closed, but my brother likes his open. This was around the holidays, and my parents are decorating nuts. So there was one of those big LED lights in the shape of a bell on his window, obscuring the view even more. So his window is the furthest away, and you really have to crane your neck in order to see it, and you're not going to see very much. So I wake up around 8 a.m. because the dogs are barking after someone knocking on the door. I peek out the blinds and see a cop car. I think the worst, so I rush downstairs and see my mom talking to a cop. She comes in, livid, and tells me what had happened. Apparently, one of the moms that waits at the bus stop with her kids, elementary school aged, saw my brother in the window and thought he was perving on the kids. So she called the cops and said a whole group of parents were concerned. She actually thought that it was my dad, according to the police officer, and reported him as only being in his underwear. My brother has sensory issues because of his autism and doesn't like wearing a shirt, but wears pajama bottoms. This is what he was wearing when the cops were called. And funny enough, we tested it out. From the bus stop view of him in the window, you can only see him from right above his nipple line, for lack of a better term. You'd see the worst in summertime with guys mowing the lawn or at the pool. And my brother, as his big sister, who knows him, was not watching the kids. He was most certainly pacing around the room and stimming. If he did look, it was a quick glance. He's not a starer. My poor baby brother thought he was going to jail. The cop was really crappy too and told my mom to put up some curtains because apparently walking around shirtless in your own home is illegal. And did I mention that in the morning my brother didn't even have the lights on in his room? This EM must have really been staring at him to figure out that he was apparently and incorrectly wearing underwear. But whoever this mom was that called messed with the wrong person. My mom can be nuts when it comes to her kids getting messed with. It's great. She ended up posting all about the situation on a big local news group, and people were livid on my brother's behalf. Some bikers offered to sit on our front porch shirtless with some beer in solidarity. My mom actually narrowed it down to 2 moms on the other side of the street, as well as found out that both of them were in a group and were probably seeing how many people were reacting to them calling the cops and getting torn apart. Someone told my mom on the post to talk to the moms the next day at the bus stop, and my mom was going to do it and explain, but none of the kids showed up at the stop. Pretty much confirmed that the EM had seen the post and was embarrassed, as she should have been. And then from that point, the moms just waited in the car with their kids until the last possible second and then dropped them off at the bus stop. If the EM had just come to the door, she would have seen the sticker that we have alerting in case of an emergency that someone with autism lives here. She could have put 2 and 2 together. She could have looked at my dad's work truck and seen the autism awareness magnets. She could have kindly just asked my mom. She could have just turned and faced the correct direction instead of straining her neck to stare into my brother's second floor window behind Christmas decorations. But no, immediately decided that it's my dad in his underwear because men are only shirtless if they're in their underwear, and oh no, shirtless man when kids are present. That must mean that the person bothers kids. Someone call the cops quick. Yeah, I'm still kind of miffed about it. I'm glad she publicly was torn apart, even though no one knew it was her specifically. If you're enjoying the content so far, please put a heart emoji in the comment section down below. Our next story is posted by Mission Progress 674. EM demands to be allowed to cut to the front of the line. I had to go to my pharmacy to pick up a prescription during my lunch break one day, and being a lunch break meant that the pickup line stretched from the door to the pharmacy desk. I'm finally third in line to pick up my meds when in marches an EM telling everyone that she has to cut the line because her daughter was outside in her car. The outside temperature was in the mid-90s, and just like the relative humidity. I hope it's true of all states, but in Louisiana, leaving your child unattended in a parked car is illegal. So I told her if she didn't go back to her car immediately, I was calling 911. Suddenly, her child is 14, and she left the engine running with the AC on. And my obvious answer was, if that's the case, then she was not in a rush and she could just join the end of the line just like everyone else. She begrudgingly walked back to the end of the line, where she already allowed half a dozen people to join ahead of her while she was busy trying to be entitled, so now her wait was even longer than it could have been. Our next story is posted by Purple Wolf 2000. EM blocked my way into my grandparents' condo despite me having a key. On mobile, so sorry for any formatting issues. This happened a few years ago. Another story I heard reminded me of this. So I was visiting my grandparents' condo with my mom for my grandmother's birthday. My mom always overpacks, so we didn't have enough hands to bring everything up in one go. My mom asked me to go down to the car and grab a box of gifts. My grandpa handed me his key so that when I came in, I wouldn't have to call them. I could just simply come in, so down I went. Once I had the items from the car, I was heading back, hands full of items, stacked precariously as I attempted to get them all up. I saw a woman and her son enter the building, so I increased my pace to get in while the door was held open by the handicap button. My foot was able to catch the door as it was closing when the woman let out a yell. EM, oh no, I don't think so. You need to call up to get in. Me. Don't worry, I have a key, but as you can see, my hands are kind of full and I was just hoping to catch the door. EM, I live in this condo and I don't know you. I want my son to be safe from creeps like you. You're a stranger just trying to break in. The EM pulls the door shut and stood in front of it. I rolled my eyes and put the boxes down and put my key in again, and the mechanism for the door opens. Some fancy electrical door. The door opens. This angered the EM somehow. I moved to step forward, but she blocks my way and starts screaming. EM, no, absolutely not. You stole that key. I don't know you. You don't live here, and you're a thief. Me. You're right, I don't live here, but my grandparents do, and I have a key, and that should be enough for you. EM. So you don't live here. Who are your grandparents and where do they live? What are their names? Me. I don't have to tell you that. There's security at the entrance to the lot. So would I be able to get in without their consent? That too should be enough for you. EM. See? You're lying. Now leave before I call security. Only people who live here are allowed keys. You probably hopped the fence. I rolled my eyes again and decided to dial the number from my grandparents' place on the box at the entrance. The EM seemed suspicious until my grandpa's voice came in through the speaker. Grandpa, why are you calling? I gave you the key so you wouldn't have to call up. Me. Yeah, I have them, but some crazy lady isn't letting me in because I stole them. EM. Excuse me? I'm the crazy one? I'm protecting my children. How was I supposed to know that your grandparents actually live here? Me. Maybe because I told you? Maybe because I had a key? Grandpa. Are you gonna let my granddaughter through the door or do I need to come down myself? EM seemed to calm down. I was just being cautious. We have rules and measures in place and you look suspicious. Ah, yes. The 5'1" plump girl wearing a red floral dress carrying colorful gift bags. Yeah, very suspicious. The EM moved and took her son walking towards the elevator, finally allowing me to go through. Once I got up there, my grandpa was waiting for me and asked what happened, and I explained to him. He had no clue who it could be because the condo building has 28 floors with 8 units per floor. It's a big building. I understand the mom was wanting to be safe, but once I showed her that I had the key and that I could open the door, she should have just left me alone. She was just way too extra entitled. Too long didn't read. EM tried to block me from getting into my grandparents' condo because I tried to get in without a key because my hands were full. Continued even after I showed her the key. Edit, the door was open for a bit as one of them tried to hit the handicap button. I wanted to clarify that detail so people don't think I just tried to run in directly behind her. Our final story is posted by I'm a 314 lot. Entitled father wants to bend airport security rules and gets detained by police. So, if you can't tell from my username, I'm a pilot. Specifically, my job is to fly an air ambulance airplane, Pilatus PC-12 for those who are curious. And 90% of the time, it is an awesome job. The other 10% is the type of stuff that you expect that brings the job down, such as hours, paperwork, new guidelines, and the sad stuff that goes on with being related to the medical field. Last week, however, was an experience that made me wonder how some people are even able to remotely function in society. I was at an airport in a smaller city that handles both small airline flights as well as private flying, such as flight training and corporate flights. I'm waiting with the aircraft while the flight nurses are at the hospital getting the patient ready for the trip. Part of my duties are making sure that the plane is cooled down and ready to go at the moment the ambulance arrives with the patient. As such, I'm out walking around the plane, doing checks, and visiting with other pilots and support personnel on the ramp. While out there, this guy pulls up to the chain link fence of the airport about 80 feet away and gets out of his car with his son, who appears to be about 10 or so. He starts yelling at us to come over. Okay, people in aviation are actually pretty friendly for the most part, and the kid hanging on the airport fence is something many of us did in our younger days. Myself and the other pilot of a jet parked nearby walk over to talk to the guy and his kid. Big mistake. The guy starts out by saying that he was former military and wanted to fly, but his eyes were bad and so he went door gunner in a helicopter. He's saying things and making claims that have my BS flag at full staff. Oh well, whatever. We remain cordial and ask the son if he's interested in flying. He's shy, but he says he wants to fly fighter jets. The other pilot turns out to be a retired A-10 pilot, so he starts chatting with the kid. The father is talking to me. Entitled father. So what do you fly? Me. That air ambulance? Pilatus right there. Entitled father. Cool. How fast does it go? Me. Average speed is around 250 to 275. Entitled father. Would you be able to give us a ride? We will pay for gas. Me. Sorry, company policy says I can't. Plus, I'm waiting for a patient. Entitled father. Can the other guy take us? Other pilot. No, my jet is privately owned and we can only fly the owners and his family. Entitled father. This is BS. Y'all have seats, just take us for a quick flight. My kid wants to be a pilot. Other pilot. Sorry, we can't. Plus, you have to go through TSA to come onto the ramp and they will want you to have a pass. Entitled father, I'm not leaving until one of you guys gives us a ride. At this point, the other pilot and I just walk back to our planes. This guy gets in his car and drives over to the vehicle access gate, remotely manned from the inside of the building, and basically parks his car in front of it. A TSA agent walks out and tells the guy to leave. Entitled father locks the doors, rolls up his windows. About 5 minutes into this, I get a text from the ambulance and it has left the hospital and is on its way. Soon after, a police car pulls behind the guy and starts to question him. Because of all of this, the ambulance had to be let through another gate and then escorted across the airport. I was told that the threat of arrest was enough to get him to comply, but the guy still got a trespassing notice as well as a citation for impeding an emergency vehicle. I wish the kid all the best. With a father like that, he'll have a hard road ahead. That's all the stories I have for today. Links to the original Reddit posts will be in the description box below. Please stop on by Reddit to show the OP some love and an upvote. If you enjoy my videos, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell notification to let you know when I upload new videos. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.